Hey everyone, this is meteorologist Brad Penovich for SkiSoutheast.com, and it's one of those weekends I don't want to do the forecast for because it's not looking really good right now. A warm pattern and rain, even for the areas in the Virginias up into Maryland, looking likely this weekend. Let's get right into the details. The only good news is the conditions are great right now, so if you hit this up early this weekend, you might sneak in half a decent day on Saturday, but you can see the moisture coming up from the south. Now, Friday night into Saturday morning is going to be really interesting. Even though you see all rain here, there might be just enough cold air for this to mix briefly, though I'm not really set that that's going to be much of anything. I think it's going to change to rain pretty quickly. All the cold air is bottled up here in the Midwest and back into the northern plains, where they're getting more and more snow. So this is a pretty wet system for Saturday into Sunday. But there's a glimmer of hope on the back side of this as we go into late Sunday and Monday. You can see the cold air trying to sneak in here. This is where things get a little more interesting. So this is late Saturday or Sunday into Monday, especially up here in West Virginia and parts of Maryland. I do think we will get a little bit natural snow, maybe a lot, depending on how much moisture is left over. You can see how that lingers into Monday night, and then we start to see it kind of push out to the east as we go into Tuesday. I don't know why that's not updating. Let's see if we can get this to move. There we go. So you can see that kind of hanging out till Tuesday, and then we go to the middle of next week, and it's more warm, wet weather, though. Next Friday, it looks like maybe a little mix there, going into next weekend, which is starting to look a little bit colder right now. So looking towards the end, and again, this is next Saturday, Friday and Saturday, there's at least some potential with this system, but that's ways out there. We don't need to really think about that. So in the short term, this is the snowfall forecast here through Sunday night. Not a great weekend, though I do think we'll see a little bit of snow, maybe an inch, kind of like what we saw with the cold front today. So when you look at the forecast here, it's not great. This is probably the worst forecast I've had as far as conditions, probably all winter, which is saying a lot because we've had a pretty good season so far. You can see I do think maybe a little bit Saturday morning, though. I don't bank on that. Don't get excited for that. Monday to me is the one legitimate chance for West Virginia, Virginia, and Maryland. I don't see anything happening here in North Carolina, Tennessee, South. It looks pretty slim pickings there as far as cold air and snowfall. There's going to be moisture, we just don't have any cold air. So let's look at the long range temperatures. Let's see if there's any glimmer of hope here that we get a pattern change, because the thing is, there is cold air. I mean, up here in the Midwest, it's just not in the Southeast. We're kind of getting a little bit of that blowtorch effect that we had last season. And we still got a ways to go for the season's over. There's a wedge set up there, it looks like on Tuesday into early next week. Now, if we go late next week, this is when things start to get a little interesting. That's pretty warm on Thursday, but watch what happens as we go into Friday. This is why I'm a little bit more excited about maybe next Friday into Saturday. It looks like that cold air tries to sneak back down into the southeast, and that wouldn't be a half bad pattern there going into next weekend, and then it tries to resurge on Sunday. So there are some signals. They don't look overwhelming, I know, trust me at this point, that there might be a little bit of a pattern change, at least briefly, next weekend. But honestly, between now and then, it's a wet and warm weekend. So still enjoy it. There's plenty of base out there to ski on. Just bring your rain gear because it is going to be soggy. It still will be cold. It's just not going to be below freezing. So I would expect 40s in most mountain locations with a pretty miserable rain, especially by Saturday night into Sunday. Saturday early might be the best time to hit up the slopes in the southeast. I'll post another update next week. Hopefully we'll get this pattern flip and we'll get something going by the end of the month into March, which will really be a nice end to the season for a lot of resorts if we can get it to flip. But in the meantime, we're getting one of those thaws, and it's going to be with us at least through the middle of next week. As always, think snow and have a great weekend, everybody.